Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I am Grandmaster Shaymin, and today we have another episode of Fatal 12. In the last episode, Miharu revealed some very important and critical information on Divine Selection, including the previous Divine Selection. So if you missed that episode, make sure you go back and check that out. And without further ado, we're going to get right on into it. Naomi and Miharu had gone home, and I opened up the cafe sometime after 7. I feel pretty bad about it considering I saw a number of regulars pass by while getting the place ready. It's hard to call this place everyone's second home with my schedule, but I just don't have it in me to completely close shop. I'm willing to admit that this might not be the best approach, but so long as my grand gives me the okay, I want to ensure that the store remains open as much as possible. Feels like I've gotten used to being exhausted now. That's the first thought to enter my head when I lay down after taking a shower. Miharu. My mind jumps to Miharu immediately, however. More specifically, that expression of hers as she left. Get in touch with her right now? Okay. We're going to hit that save button. And we're going to get in touch with her right now. I can't just sit here after seeing that. She may be staying with family, but she's still alone in a way. No one in her home is truly there for her. She might be beating herself up as I sit here and think. I'd much rather hear her voice right now, so I opt to call her than text her. She answers before the first ring ends. Thank God. Miharu said she wants to see me the moment she picks up the phone. We decide to meet at Zojoji Temple, the very same place we brought Sophia. Thank God we called her. She wants to meet immediately? Not to mention, Miharu's so great. Oh my God, that's got to be my lover. Tokyo Tower shines as brightly as ever. I'm not sure why she chose this place, but there's no denying that pleasant scenery can cleanse the heart. This place definitely fits the bill. Sorry to make you wait, Rinka, not to mention asking you out at this time of night. It's fine. I was worried about you, so I'd much rather talk to you face to face. Miharu is wearing casual attire, much like me. Chances are we'd be stopped by the police if we were out in our school uniforms at this hour. Granted, one could easily assume we were delinquents being out this late with no proper excuse. I regret letting my emotions get the better of me earlier, especially what I said to Naomi. You don't need to worry about that. Naomi doesn't hold it against you. Thanks, Rinka. Miharu stares into my eyes as she whispers my name. I feel a strange relief knowing that she's here with me. It's proof that we're both still alive. Oh my God, the music! After all that, and then the music is so intense, so there's like this huge pause with no music at all, and they're just talking, and then BAM! This means something intense is going down. I only told you both about my being the survivor of the previous Divine Selection and the Goddess's vessel, correct? There's more I need to tell you, though. It's what Parker said during our conversations. The previous Divine Selection was held 17 years ago, beginning July 23rd. Not only was I a participant, but your parents were as well. What? Both my parents were participants? I barely know anything about my parents, and it turns out that they were participants in Divine Selection, much like myself. It may be surprising, but I'm more concerned about how to process the revelation in the first place. So they had to compete against each other to live, right? So their goal probably was to work together so that they could both live, or at least try. Hold on, both my parents were participants along with you? But that doesn't add up. Miharu's birthday is later on in the year, December 12th to be precise. Noticing my confusion, Miharu goes on to clarify. I actually took a year off in middle school, so that makes me a year older than you and Mao. Whoa, you're older than us? Sorry, I'm having trouble processing all of this. I do my best to organize my thoughts really quick. Both of my parents were in Divine Selection participants in the past. Miharu was a participant then as well, but it turns out she was 1 year older than me, which would make her 7 months old at the time. Following that line of thought, I come to a certain revelation. So, I was born during the previous Divine Selection. That's right, July 27th. Yo! Wait. Her birthday's a day after mine? What? That's crazy. No way. Rika's birthday is July 27th and mine is the 26th. How wild is that? How wild is that? Okay. Rinka and I have apparently that in common. Damn, okay. Your birthday and the most precious day of the year to me. That's so cute. Came about after divine selection started. If July 23rd was the conjecture of causality, that'd mean my parents died before I was born. So how was I even born in the first place? At what point is someone considered a living being? I don't have the answer, but if you are considered alive while still in the womb, then it makes sense for you to have survived. Some believe life begins the moment the mother gets pregnant. Others believe that it begins the moment you're born into the world. Maybe it depends on what our mother considers her child to be alive. Basically, July 23rd was the day my parents would die, but not me. That must be why I was able to survive the fire and be born during divine selection. That means my grand found me on the 23rd, right? Why would she say my birthday's on the 27th? My name's become something of a mystery, too. Rinka, she said that it was my mom who named me, and that she did so after my birth. The process of overwriting people's memories is imperfect, but is it enough to justify this? Naomi mentioned she saw visions of what was undone in her dreams, right? The same might apply here. Both are reality, but your grandmother opted to believe the most important to her. Yeah, she seemed positive when she told me that it was my mom who gave me my name. I doubt she ever questioned whether or not it was true. And that's good enough, isn't it? Sometimes you don't need a reason to back on your beliefs. Parker's done a good job of not explaining everything, too. It'll take far too long for me to fully accept all these new revelations. Miharu looks as though she has more to say as well, so I should focus on hearing her out for now. Still, there's something I want to ask her before letting her continue. You were just a baby during the previous divine selection, right? Do you mind if I ask how you were able to survive? Allow me to answer your question with a question. What would you do if there was a baby among the participants? That basically answers itself. There's no doubt I'd do everything in my power to protect the baby. At the very least, I wouldn't be able to convince myself to gather information on it, let alone elect it. My parents helped you, didn't they? Apparently there was another among them. Parker stated that those three protected me all the way to the end and then elected one another. Scale seems to have figured out that someone helped me, but I doubt he knows it was your parents. With 4 people left, 3 were eliminated. That left Miharu as the sole survivor and thus the winner. I understand that all too well when they made that choice. So it looks like the last divine selection went pretty well, you know? They were all kind of adults who seemed to be nice people, and they all chose to let the baby live. Now, Alan would have a problem with that. He would kill the baby first. I'm watching you, Alan. Dick. I understand all too well why they made that choice. If there's anything that would prove my relation to my parents, it'd be this. That's why I was scared when you first came to me about Sophia. I thought you'd do the same for her that your parents did for me, but her foresight in meeting with Odette prevented that. Sophia was wise beyond her years. She knew that she wouldn't live long, even if she did survive due to her illness. She understood the reason why Odette threatened her, too. What if she was just your average kid, though? As Miharu said, I might have given my own life to save her. Of course, we're talking about things that aren't possible anymore. Did my parents' actions play a part in your desire to keep doing things for my sake, then? I asked this without a second thought. Her claim that she would give her life to me might be her way of making things up to my parents. Miharu wastes no time replying. The tone of her voice is far more intense than usual. No, Rinka. In fact, that misunderstanding is the one thing I feared more than you coming to hate me after I revealed all of this. How so? You're as dense as a black hole. Oh my god, I love her face. Look at it. She's as dense as a black hole. True that, man. She covers her face with one hand. Her voice seems somewhat distressed. I can only assume there's something else she meant to get across. Oh, it's okay. Tell me everything. I promise things won't change no matter what you say. She wants things to... I approach her, gazing into the eyes she's trying to keep covered beyond her right hand. There's about an 8-inch height difference between us, so this is the only way for me to get a proper look at her face. Why are you so cute? Oh, why are you so cute, Rinka? She casts her eyes away and steps back before mumbling the rest of the sentence to herself. Miharu? Her eyes fall back on me, though she refuses to face me head on. Silence ensues as we stare at each other. The light of the nightscape causes her eyelashes to shimmer. Fine. So be it. Just give me a minute to prepare for this, okay? I need a deep breath or 3. Saying that, she really does start taking deep breaths. It's really hard to confess your love for someone. Like, this is a lot more legitimate, you know? In the previous time she said it to Rinka, it came across really washed up, you know? It was, oh, by the way, I love you type of thing, you know what I'm saying? But this is like a legitimate confession. And, dude, what I don't understand is how you can turn this girl down. I don't know if it'll give us the option, though. But if it does give us the option, how could you turn Miharu down? She's just too much of a doll. I guess it's something big if it requires this much courage for her, so I make sure to remain quiet until she finishes taking her 6th breath. Rinka. She speaks my name before falling silent again. I won't rush her. This is a revelation even more shocking than that of my parents being participants in divine selection. I love you. Huh? Well, I love you too, but... Well, not what I expected at first. It doesn't take long for me to understand exactly in what way she means her words. I answer her right away on reflex. The short time between that and my total comprehension of her words feels like an eternity. We're in a nice place at night and no one's around, and she finds the courage to say what would otherwise be simple saying between friends. We've spent so much time discussing divine selection, a matter of life and death. I figured she wanted to be more direct for once, and knowing her, I figured she said it that way on purpose. But now it all makes sense. She never ever meant it in the way that I thought she did. I can't believe how dense I've been. No wonder she made the black hole comment. I love her face. She's so flustered. Hold on. Assuming I'm understanding the situation, I'm the one who isn't ready for this. I mean, we're both girls, you know. That's irrelevant. Perhaps now you'll realize how hard I've been trying to appeal to you all this time. Let me say it once more. I love you, Rinka, not as a friend, but as a woman. I love the expressions you make. I love the gold streaks in your beautiful hair. I love your soft skin. I love that you're short. Because it only makes you cuter, not to mention your complete lack of fashion sense. I love how kind you are and how much of a busybody you can be. I love how intense you are, as well as you're reckless. I love absolutely everything about you, Rinka. I lost the ability to speak. Never before have I been this shocked by something Miharu had to say. Dude, Miharu went all out with that confession. Oh my god, this is so good. Oh my goodness, Miharu. Oh, that's the... It's too good. It's too good. Damn, okay. That was a pretty dope confession. Oh, man. She even went in and explained everything that she liked about her and why this came to pass. That was so cool. And I love Rinka's expression. I mean, anybody would be left completely flustered. She has the advantage while I'm in a state too. She continues to stare at me, her entire face having exploded into a bright shade of red. This is a new sensation for me. I never knew just how much one's heart could flutter when faced with the love of another. She shot glances all around my surroundings in a panic. I shoot glances all around my surroundings in a panicked search for words. I desperately need help, but there's no one around. I guess that means I need to face this situation all on my own. So, I cut myself off right away. Apologizing now would mean I'd turn her down. I don't think I'm ready to do that yet. Not while my brain feels ready to burst at any given moment. I've never experienced this thing this kind of thing before. I'm just lost my ability to communicate effectively. You really are adorable, you know that? Hard to believe you can look so fierce when staring down other participants. I feel my capacity for speech diminished by the second as she stares into my eyes. She's completely different now than she was 10 minutes ago. I can't see her as the same Mishima Miharu I knew before. I always thought she was pretty, but the nightscape only serves to elaborate that truth. That being said, the fact that you don't shoot me down right away is plenty for now. I'm pretty relieved now that I've got it out. Well, that's good. No, say you love her, goddammit. Okay. I can feel my breathing become more ragged. Miharu's next line yanks me back to reality, though. Just make sure you to give me an answer before I die. I won't avoid it. I'll give her an answer no matter what. It's my turn to show her the resolve that she showed me after all. How I'll go about it has to remain a mystery for now. There's nothing new, though. I've faced these kind of obstacles many times before. It's up to me to decide for myself. It's my life, after all. I promise I'll get an answer no matter what. Just give me some time to think it through, please? Miharu nods, a smile on her face. No! We head home next. While I may have brought myself some time to give her an answer, our walk is a bit awkward considering we're alone together. Damn it! Can't say I slept particularly well last night. My heart was even racing when I went to bed. Part of me even entertained the thought of that everything else I'd come to see and learn during Divine Selection wouldn't hold a candle to this. Maybe that's true, though. I mean, it makes sense, depending on one's viewpoint of how the human heart works. Even at school, I'm unable to keep my mind off it. Miharu and Mao get there before me, so I make it a point to give them a cheery greeting and try and switch gears. Morning! Oh, what's up, Rinny? You're a bit later than usual today. Really? Morning, Rinka. Hey, Miharu. Awesome to see you again. There's nothing different about Miharu today. She speaks to me like she always does, but it leaves me flustered. You'd think nothing happened last night, judging by her attitude. Mao makes no effort to hide her suspicion by staring at us. Can't blame her when I'm acting like this first thing in the morning. Dude, Mao knows. Mao's like, something happened. And her face is bright red. That can only mean one thing. After battling my way through a grueling gauntlet of classes with less than a third of my typical concentration, the sweet release of lunch break finally arrives. Miharu has some business with one of our teachers, so it's just Mao and myself. Relieving considering I still am not sure how to talk to Miharu normally. I sip my vegetable juice before getting started on my sandwich. So, Rennie, did Miharu finally confess? The juice flies right back out of my mouth. Whoa, amazing! I mean, it was so obvious with the way you were acting and all. Could you be a bit more eloquent? So you knew about her feelings for me and stuff. You might be the only gal in the world who didn't. Even Naureen knows, though I'm not sure if she figured it out herself or if Miharu told her. So what's your next move? While vague, it's easy to understand what she's asking. The only thing that comes to mind after a confession is the response. Nothing for now. I'm still not sure how to process her feelings for me. It doesn't help that I've never had anyone confess to me before, let alone another girl. What would you do if you were me? I don't know. A quick and blunt answer, she focuses more on jamming a straw into her strawberry milk. Oh, obviously she doesn't know, God. But what I do know is that it probably took a lot of courage for Miharu to tell you. In which case, I'd say you better take it as seriously as possible. So long as you give her a truly sincere answer, it should work out. I won't think any less of you if you turn her down, and she'll just go back to being your friend, not like anything will change. Then again, I guess I'll be a third wheel if you two end up an item, huh? Might just go to Naureen for company then. Hearing Mao ramble on helps me cheer up a bit. I like how she's like, oh, well, if you guys become a couple, I mean, fuck, I'm gonna be a third wheel, damn it. More people in the world need to think this way, man. They're two human beings. They love each other, god damn it. I know Rinka does. I know it. As she said, maybe I don't need to worry about this too much. I mean, I'll take it seriously. I just won't worry about my answer affecting our friendship. Actually, wouldn't it change if I say yes? We'd be girlfriends, right? Yes. Yes, you would. You gotta put that space. Oh man. Anyway, I'm just looking up at my manga girlfriends, my favorite romance story of all time. Regardless of heterosexual, homosexual, it doesn't matter. My favorite romance story of all time. Really, really wish it got an anime, but it didn't. A number of questions come to mind, but I do my best to push them aside and focus on the fact that we'd still be friends regardless. I honestly thought love was just something you'd see in TV and manga. Oh boy. Mel's face contorts in horror at what I just said. Yeah, I definitely freaked her out with that one. I know more or less why. Even worse, I have to defend what I just said. So I try and change this. I have no way to defend what I just said, so I try and change the subject. Fortunately, we managed to avoid bringing it up again until after lunch. If anything, I'll feel like I was always able to set it aside for now and hang out with Miharu like always. How long are you gonna have? Friday. What? I've spent time thinking about both Miharu and Divine Selection. The possibility that both of us in scale suggested of everyone being able to survive weighs on my mind again. Miharu would likely tell me not to bother if I brought it up with her, so maybe I should talk to Naomi about it instead. I already planned on meeting her after school anyway, so it works out. I haven't given up on learning the truth behind Divine Selection. Going through a bunch of books and hoping for the best might not be the best approach, but I don't want to stop. I'm a little more knowledgeable when it comes to the architecture and styles related to that place now, at least. For example, the designs aren't just for show. They reflect the time periods from which they were made as a result of necessities from those times. Let's put that aside for now. I'm best off relying on Naomi. No need to be reserved at this point. I've already accepted that I need to rely on others to press onward. Meow. Well, well. Seems like Lee snuck into my bed while I wasn't paying attention. That serves as a reminder that I should probably change my sheets. What with summer fast approaching. I mean, it's already June, isn't it? I mean, it's basically here at that point. Pardon me. Come on, it's just us, remember. I laugh when I remind her that we have a similar exchange regarding politeness upon entry before. Naomi doesn't know about Miharu confessing to me. Mao seems she's aware of Miharu's feelings, but I feel like it's best not to bring it up with anyone. Mao caught on without me saying anything, so I'll chalk that up to a simple accident. The plan for today is to go through some books for an hour and then open up the store. Just as we moved onto our table and tossed a bunch of books and notebooks on it, Naomi hits me with a surprising question. So have you made your decision yet? My decision? What are you talking about? Is something the matter? You said it'd be best to create a situation where none of you can elect one another, so I was wondering if you decided to speak with Scale or not. A wave of relief flashes over me. I nearly panicked over the possibility of her having realized the situation with Miharu. I've already decided on my path going forward. I haven't told her about my parents either. Miharu's likely to tell her soon enough. Knowing that, she might be a bit confused by my statement. That's the answer I've reached, though. Nothing will change it. I felt a real connection with my parents when Miharu told me about them. I'm much younger and less confident than they were at the time, but the fact remains I would do anything I could to help save a powerless child. The fundamental desire serves as a link between us. In fact, that very well have been what's influenced my actions up until now. In other words, I've been acting on instinct. Everything I did for Keiko, Sonia, and Shingetsugu was all on my own will, yet at the same time it wasn't. The blood flowing through my veins is what spurred me on. Your path? That all changes now. I won't let my blood or my instincts influence how I live my life anymore. I'm not doing this because I want to save anyone. I'm doing this because I want to live. I want to return to the normal life I had with all of you. I'm fine with eliminating the other participants till it's just me and Miharu. What happens after that is anyone's guess. The fact of the matter is that I don't care about the others anymore. The best I can do for them is acknowledge that what they did during their lives and make sure to never forget them. Are you sure you still want to shoulder this burden with me, knowing that? Scenery from the park flashes through my mind. I told her not long after Divine Selection had started that I may not have it in me to shoulder the burden of eliminating other participants. Naomi offered that shoulder with me back then, but the resolve I have now wasn't a factor before. I had yet to awaken who I really was. If there's anyone I have to thank for doing so, it's... There we go. That's the Rinka I know. What's that mean? Naomi continues, struggling to overcome her shyness. What I mean is nothing's changed. About you and Miharu being the only survivors, and about me being willing to shoulder that burden with you. You don't need to worry about it at all. Naomi answers with a smile. Now it's all clear. Everything I do from here on will be of my own will. That's my path now. I'm curious about Scale, though. It's possible he opted not to break through Miharu's defenses because he knew you would elect him later. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he thinks he can win me over to his side, hence why he left the way that he did. It's certainly possible that I would have taken his suggestion to heart before Miharu's confession. It's far easier to think about ways for everyone to survive. Looking back, I was basically turning my eyes away from reality. He's likely to pull something soon as his response to Miharu's admission. At the very least, he'll be looking to delay his inevitable election. Just as Naomi finishes her sentence, the phone rings. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Not my cell phone, the store's landline. Oh man, okay. All inquiries regarding orders and supplies go straight to my gran right now. And this isn't a place that requires reservations, so it's rare for the phone to ring at all. Knowing that, I prepare myself before picking up. Good evening. Thank you for contacting Lionhouse. Good evening yourself. It's your good pal Scale Jones. I still haven't looked up your number, so I settled for this. I make eye contact with Naomi when I hear his voice. No doubt she realized it's him too. There's something disturbing about what he said, though. The way he said it implies he could find my information pertaining to me whenever he wanted. I'd like to talk things out, just the two of us if possible. No need to worry. It's only regarding Divine Selection. I know a bar called Milk Crown nearby. Would you mind meeting there around 8 p.m.? He doesn't even expect me to decline. Once I agree, he shares the bar's location. Turns out it's not too far at all. I can walk there without issue. I look forward to seeing you. The call lasts a mere 2 minutes. Did things work out? Sounds like he wants to talk. Probably thinks I'm an easier target since Miharu won't hear him out. But that's fine. I'll make my way over later. Miharu looks concerned at first, but nods in agreement a moment later. Why? I mean, I guess it's not to arouse suspicion, but still. I've never been a fan of the atmosphere in this part of town at night. I come in regular clothing, but that doesn't stop some random guys from trying to chat me up. I mean, she is cutie pie, isn't she? There are plenty of drinks around, despite it not even being 8 p.m. I come across a sign that definitely would have missed had I not known about it beforehand, as I make my way through to this awful place. Milk Crown is located here. Its entrance is practically underground. Music from a popular rock band plays over the speakers. It's an all-girl band called Silky Strawberry, if I remember right. I've seen them on TV before. As for the customers, there's only one, a lone man sitting at the counter. Yo, Federico and I used to hit this place up for our meetings, so I've become something of a regular. Well, Federico ended up getting banned after stirring up some trouble here, it seems. What do you want? My treat. I'll have some juice. Whatever's fine. It's obvious someone underage like me shouldn't be at a place like this. There's numerous bottles of various types of alcohol lined up on the shelf behind the counter. They seem expensive, judging by the intricate bottle designs. Scale has a glass already. Inside is a slightly transparent, fizzy yellow drink. Obviously, I have no clue what it is, but it doesn't seem like beer. While nervous about being in this sort of establishment, I make it a point to not let Scale influence me. I've given a glass of mixed juice. It even has an orange slice wedged into the rim of the glass. I thanked him for it, and then Scale gets right to the point. I want to stay on the side of justice as much as possible. What does that entail exactly? The idea of justice in our world has been debated to the point it's become, somewhat irrelevant, but I'm a firm believer that there's no ideal definition of what it is, and it isn't just. For example, let's say a young boy takes revenge on the person who murdered his parents by killing the killer. Both acts are criminal, but can you say the boy is an evil person for doing so? I can't. What's important is their mindset when doing so. He may have committed a crime, but I would say the boy's actions were just. Sorry, I'm not quite understanding you. What is it you're trying to tell me? Once I figured out that both Alan and Federico were evil, but when I consider what happened to them in their lives, I've come to think that maybe they are, in fact, just. Now to get to my point. Don't you think we should try to elect and protect ourselves? You remember what Miharu told us, don't you? Divine selection is a ritual carried out to determine the vessel for the goddess. While true that we would be able to live on, Miharu made it clear that things would become tenuous if more than one participant remains. That's why I said we should try it. Parka allowed us to consider the possibility by hinting at its existence. We can't decide what to do following that once we see what she does. Truth of the matter is that there's nothing else we can do until then. There's a possibility it's all a ruse too. She did only say that we would cross that bridge when we came to it, after all. Being vague may have been her way of making us avoid the outcome in the first place. What are you implying? If Parka herself would discover what if Parka herself would disappear if she were unable to determine a sole vessel to inhabit? I gulp way too loudly. He thinks Parka would actually disappear? That's a bit much for me to process. I guess it's a bit easier to grasp when you consider the fact that she has to remain there. At this time, I'd much rather understand what becoming her vessel entails, along with why she had to rely on the body of a human in the first place. I'm not confident that everything would go smoothly in the first place, but well, the 5 of us made it this far. Wouldn't you say we've got it in us to make it past anything at this point? His voice is full of confidence. The way he speaks reminds those politicians who go around and make public speeches. Chances are good that I can't conceal my suspicion toward him with that image in mind. I'm well aware that you can't trust me, considering I tried to elect Miharu despite our alliance. Hardly just an act on my part, after all. Hardly a just act on my part. That's why I'd like you to hear about my life first. You likely have all my info at this point, so I don't need to worry about you handing in any new cards. I say nothing, but he opts to continue anyway. My name is Scale Jones, born September 30th, making me a Libra. His life story follows. He was born in America, along the outskirts of Texas to be precise. His childhood was as normal as can be. He lived a simple life with his parents, an older brother, and a dog. However, comparisons between him and his brother became more common as he grew up. Not only was his brother always top of the class, he was exceptionally skilled at any and all sports. He was even on par with Scale's own friends on the football team who had been scouted. Scale was compared to his brother at every turn due to this, which became a source of stress for him. It led to him coming to hate his brother once he spent so much time with him as a child. However, it was a camera that saved him from all that. His parents bought him one for his 14th birthday, which he became obsessed with. He was able to find joy in taking pictures. His parents soon came to understand that he was gifted with the immense artistic sense. He was different from his brother, and his parents began to accept this. Apparently, it was Scale's own brother who suggested the camera to his parents, as they were at a loss of what to get him. This caused Scale's hate to turn into respect. His interest shifted towards advertising following this. Thus, he made a way to his city to study graphic design at a local college. He did this because he figured that it would be hard to earn a living solely by taking pictures. His goal was to learn how to make the most from the pictures he would take. I was always called out to the matches our school were part of in high school due to everyone knowing about my hobby. I wasn't too pleased with that, in all honesty. Things changed when I went to college and started living on my own, though. It felt like a whole new world opened up for me. That was the moment I realized just how engaging it could be to capture big moments in sports. Each and every moment was valuable, though. You'd never capture the best shot without proper knowledge and experience, not to mention luck. You really do love it, huh? That's my honest opinion based on his facial expression as he talks about it. He's almost like a little kid telling someone about their favorite toy. It's nothing like the impression I got from our search for his information and what Alan shared with me. He's very human, I guess. I doubt I need to explain the rest to you when you have all three of my cards, but I will say that the Olympics is the pinnacle of athletic activity to me. I always wanted to capture the moment someone from my country won a gold medal. I mean, hey, it's America, so most likely you'll have a lot, especially if you go to the Summer Olympics. Probably either the most or second most to China. So much that it became my regret. However, he moved into the entertainment industry after a brief stint in the newspaper. To be more blunt, he became a paparazzi. He made sure to detail that, too. It turned out that the father of one of his friends who had been employed at a real estate firm, was a famous actor. However, the paparazzi had evidence of him committing adultery. What's more, it turned out it wasn't a single affair. He had been seeing others for years and even had an illegitimate child. I'm not too familiar with foreign films and stuff, but I'd heard of the person before. Not only did mass media close in on my friend, he had to deal with harassment as well. Most likely by those close to the illegitimate child. None of it was major, but it piles up nonetheless. It turns out the person was pretty horrible, too. He was jealous of my friend and the career he built for himself. His logic was that there shouldn't be such a big difference between their lives when the same blood run through their veins. Of course, the real difference was the amount of effort put in to get where they were. Some of the harassment constituted minor offenses, too. It all ate away at my friend until he eventually chose to kill himself. Huh? Ironically, that served as a trigger to wrap the whole scandal up. I bet you're wondering why I'd become paparazzi after hearing that, though. It'd make more sense for me to hate him, wouldn't it? Well, yeah. I'm of the mind that my friend's father was most at fault. None of it would have ever happened if he hadn't cheated. There can't be evidence of something that never took place, after all. Celebrities have an opportunity to fix their attitude should they be involved in a public scandal. That's why I see the paparazzi as more of a force that can stop them from doing what they shouldn't. Interesting outlook. Just what a paparazzi would say. That's why I feel like my decision to become one was just. Not that I expect you to accept that logic. With that, scale-lengthy monologue ends. I know a side of him that I never would have learned otherwise. He has his own convictions, his own way of life. I can't say I understand or feel for him, but I can't deny that he's gone through his fair share in his life. Electing Miharu is proof of my weakness. I feared the idea of her being able to gather my information with ease, and that fear drove me away from justice. To the end, I can honestly say that I'm glad she was able to protect herself. That relief brought me back to the side of justice. Now I want to make the right choice, which is for all of us to survive. So please believe me. Scale presses his arms onto his sides and bows deeply. You must have done some research on the best ways to influence people from Japan. I believe you. There's no hesitation in my response. I already know how I feel about him. And it was the answer I decided on as soon as he started the story, perhaps since he called me even. I trusted you would say that, thank you. But I'll pass. Nani? As much as I believe you, as much as you convince me that you're as human as I am, it doesn't matter. My decision's been made. Even I'm surprised at how cold I sound right now. I never knew I had it in me to speak in this tone. I'm going to elect you. I chug what remains of my juice. The tart flavor makes me wince a little. Following that, I asked the bartender for the price and handed over a 1,200 yen, about as pricey as you'd expect from this kind of place. I was glad I was able to get to know you. Now I'm sure I won't forget you after I eliminate you. I leave a dumbfounded Scale behind as I walk away. Part of my doing this is to avoid him trying to convince me otherwise, as that's the sort of person he is. Dude, the look on his face is just crazy. I knew how I was going to respond, but I'd be lying if I said my conviction didn't waver as I heard him out. I knew I'm a big softy. It's in my blood, after all. I hustle and bustle off the streets of the street side is loud and unexpected, and yet I somehow feel like I can hear a scream of pure anguish come from inside the bar. I grit my teeth and make my way back home. I have no right to feel bad about the decision I made. I know that, but I can't help it. I can't help but place a shaking hand over my shaking heart. Damn. Gotta hand it to you, though. I mean, the conviction needed for that is pretty impressive. So we're going to leave off as Alan Scorpion's about to do some stuff. And so thank you all for watching this episode. Make sure you click that like button down below for me because you already know your support is greatly appreciated. And we'll see you all in the next episode.